And we have new information on a religious cult based in Colorado. Members of the group have reappeared online under a new name.
Yeah, authorities arrested 7 members earlier this month after their leader's mummified body was found in a home near Crestone. CBS 4's Rick Sounder has been reporting on this cult. Appeared today on Dr. Phil, which focused on this case. And Rick, you do have new information for us.
Yes, Karen, the group may be small in numbers, but their online presence is huge. In fact, they have tens of thousands of people following them as Love Is One. They disappeared from the live computer screen, but now some are back. It appears the cult has changed its name, calling itself 5D Full Disclosure. Members of the group posted, "God was here. She ascended. Now it's our turn." Their reference to God is believed to be Amy Carlson, known as Mother God. She was the leader of Love Has Won. Her mummified body, decorated with Christmas lights, was discovered in this home near Crestone. It's believed she had been dead for some time from natural causes. 7 members of Love Has Won were arrested on charges related to the presence of the body. 2 known members of the group posted on Facebook, dated today, with Amy Carlson's picture in the background.
However this happens, I just pray everybody's still loving Mom, whatever goes down. And they all do. Nothing changed.
It is a live stream entitled The Return of the Oracles. All of those arrested have now been released on bond. We spoke with 2 briefly earlier this month. How did she die?
Ken, I actually do not have an answer to that. Sincerely, I don't know.
A different side of the group appeared on a video recently posted to Reddit. What it shows are a series of clips from the group making highly anti-Semitic and anti-black statements, which we will not air. It was not disclosed where that live stream today was coming from. The group has been at times in Oregon and Hawaii, and the body of Carlson was believed brought to Colorado from California.
Hello, 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 and how are you all doing today? I hope that you've all had a wonderful day so far. That news briefing that you saw at the beginning of my stream here is actually from about 2 years ago. In the last 2 years, this thing has popped up and disappeared on several different occasions and has split into 2 different cults. One of the sects, we'll call it, is called Joy Reigns, and the other one, of course, is this one, 5D Full Disclosure, which is still being run by the 2 lovely ladies that you saw at the beginning of this. They still do carry on a lot of the same doctrine, and therefore, we've been reading through and archiving as much as I possibly can about this thing over the last 2 years. If you look on my channel, I've covered it as extensively as possible. And right now, what we're doing is we're going through all of their manuals. They call them books. I don't want to call them books. Some of them are like 3-4 pages. I don't feel right calling that a book to those that have actually published books. That seems insulting to me. So it's more just like their pamphlets is what I've been referring it to. But it's basically everything that was written down when they were Love Has Won, and then that's carried on after Mother God has passed away. How is the cult still continuing? For those that may be more familiar with the Love Has Won cult, as you guys know, they were all supposed to kind of pass away together, and the Galactics, which is a group of people that Amy Carlson claimed to be connected to, which was made up of all sorts of people that have passed away, and even Trump, who's still very much alive, but it consisted of like Robin Williams. And basically, like, think of anyone famous that it has like a good reputation. They're apparently a part of this galactics. Like, it's ridiculous. We've covered it extensively as well, but they were supposed to come down to Earth and then kind of take Mother God and the people in this cult up to the heavens, if you will, up to where Mother God is allegedly just kind of hanging out on a cloud somewhere. I guess still running this cult and helping everyone along their ascension journey. When she, of course, ended up mummified with Christmas lights all over her, they had to quickly come up with a new thing. It's very much like a doomsday cult, except they didn't ever really say like the date of the end of the world, if you will. They just talked about how they were going to continue on in this ascension journey. The idea is that you are reincarnated in life after life after life. Amy Carlson, of course, has been great, such as Cleopatra, Jesus, probably Hitler. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. And you know, a bunch of people throughout history, she claimed. And so everyone else in this cult believes that they've been reincarnating for fucking hundreds of years to continue on this ascension journey. Because of that, they do believe that anything bad that happens to you is punishment, basically, for something that you did in a past life. This, of course, has caused a lot of issues in their ways of thinking about a lot of things. Check out my deep dive on their Victim to Victor pamphlet to get a better idea on that. And right now we're going through the whole awakening ascension journey. As it began as love has won, and you'll see this in the writings, and we've gotten to that point where we've been able to kind of show it a few times now. And then more got added on as Mother God like passed on. And then these people didn't like die with her and have the galactics come and save them and take them up to planet heaven, or, you know, whatever it is that they believe Mother God is going to sit on. They don't ever really fully get into it. They leave it very open. There's a lot that's left open and very general here. And I believe that's so that no matter what background you have spiritually or religiously, it's a lot like Ekankar. I've covered the cult Ekankar on my channel also extensively, and will continue to do so in the new year. Again, don't worry, we're not stopping that. And it basically wants to be open to all spiritualities and all religions so that it can manipulate as many people as possible into their cult, right? So because of that, think of a mix of like Scientology with a little bit of Ekankar, a little bit of Nexium, all kind of wrapped into one for their belief system, if you will. And so they've described this ascension journey to us. We're pretty familiar with it. We've gotten familiar with the ego, which is basically just a collection of all your bad traits put together. It helps them with the us versus them mentality as well, which they have very much here, by the way. Anyone that's not in the cult is a part of the cabal, which is basically, like I said, any non-believer. But to them, it's like the evil people that are trying to stop Mother God from helping everyone ascend in the world, you know? So we're on part 2 of their Awakening 101 training program, because this ascension journey is not just like a personal, spiritual, or religious journey that you would go on. We see that often in a lot of Christian religions. They'll be like, oh, you have a spiritual journey you're going on, but it's very personal, and it often doesn't involve rules like this one does. This ascension journey has all these things that you have to do in order to be able to ascend. And so they have actually put together a training package to train you into being able to ascend, if you will. We've already covered part 1, in which we read the first 6 chapters of it. I believe there's 10. And so now we're covering the last few. And then going forward, we're actually not going to be reading for a little while. We're going to be watching the videos. Luckily for us, not for anyone else though, and it's not a good thing for anyone else in the world, other than us on my channel for having content, they have returned again. You see, like I said, they have come and goneth several times. They will kind of show up, be promoting often. They do like sell these courses and programs. They are still trying to sell products, although luckily right now none of them consist of colloidal silver, I don't think, because I'm pretty sure they've gotten in a lot of trouble for that. That is, by the way, what ended up killing Mother God in the end. It was a mixture of that and her not taking good care of herself and the drugs that they were taking. But it was really the colloidal silver. It turned her silver and she passed away. Her organs shut down from it. And they never took her to the doctor. She basically just died in front of them on live streams with them. And you could watch that all live if you were so if you wanted to. So basically, in the part 2, we're kind of summing up everything that you would need to know to go on this ascension journey. After this, I feel like we can really dive into several of the videos because they came back about 5 months ago to really start promoting their newest endeavor, which, again, they've kind of had training courses before, but really this 5D university thing is a more newer way of them trying to indoctrinate and manipulate people. So they've started up the 5D university, which is basically just people paying them to do almost like MLM-like training things. And you'll see. If you're new to this, you'll understand once we get into this book what they're promoting there and teaching people. But it's basically just their cult doctrine. They're just doing the same thing like when they were Love is One and they were doing live streams to people, and Amy Carlson and Jason Castillo, who runs Joy Reigns, by the way, were like spouting all their bullshit high on shrooms. It's basically that again, although this time it's Aurora that comes out with hope, and they talk about the ascension journey from where I guess Mother God left off with them, if you will. Like I said, she passed away. They had to be like, oh shit, we didn't go with her. The Galactics didn't show up. What are we going to tell everyone now? And it basically became a continuance of the cult. They're now the ones that are worshipped over here. So Aurora has essentially stepped in as the new Mother God, except she does not replace Amy Carlson. They still very much worship Amy Carlson. But then it's weird because Jason Castillo is running Joy Reigns, and it's almost like they've erased Father God from being in existence of the 5D version of this now. So it's like they stole all the doctrine and the beliefs and all the writings that they had all kind of done at the house together, which is when they were putting all these documents together originally, right? And then these ladies kind of added to it and changed it so that they can continue it on. And this is the training version, which I guess everyone would need to be trained in order to go on their ascension journey. The whole point of this is your ascension journey. And if you don't get it right in this lifetime, it sounds very much like this is your last chance. Because again, the Galactics are supposed to show up, but then other times when we're reading it, they make it sound like you're still on your journey. And this could continue for another lifetime in future if you don't get it in this one. So it's very back and forth with that, again, I believe, to leave it open for future changes. Because one day, unfortunately, this group of people are going to pass away. And they're going to need someone to step up. They have a very similar group that follows them. Think of it as this thing continued on and maybe split in two a little bit. They're still like recruiting people to it though. And I don't understand how that's happened since she was found mummified and it was like all over the news. But maybe some people haven't heard. I don't know. Hand pink waving to you, Devil's Advocate. Good to see you. Hello, April. Good to see you. Good morning. I hope you're having a good morning. Good to see you, Joe. Everyone, please remember that the Google mods are here, so watch your swear words. Otherwise, my mods have to approve of everything. Hello, Adderwolf. I hope you're having a lovely, lovely day. Yes, Ek, I know. We have kind of put it on the back burner for a little bit, just so that I could dive more into. I can't put on passive on the back burner much because it pops off at all times. There's just always something happening over there. And so I had to kind of put Ekankar on the back burner a little bit while we dove into this. But after the new year, I'm going to be able to do all of them at the same time. You'll see. I promise. Yeah, the Colloidal Silver, I haven't seen any products as of late with Colloidal Silver, but it was very much a problem. Even after Amy Carlson passed away, they were still trying to like off the rest of the stuff that they had for a little while. So it was still going on, where they were like trying to sell stuff that was not FDA approved, that the FDA already told them to fuck off with. They already got in trouble. Like, that's actually kind of what got them on the map, is that they were selling the Colloidal Silver, and people were like, whoa, you shouldn't be selling that. And then they got in trouble, and so a lot of the people out here that cover scams, like myself, were like, hey, there's this fucking weird thing selling Colloidal Silver, and they're getting in trouble. Like, they got to stop that shit, you know? And then it kind of went from there. So we were like, oh shit, this is a cult. This isn't just like a website selling something. This is a full-on fucking cult, and this crazy lady is doing live streams on shrooms. That's how most of us found out about it. Like, at the very beginning, a lot of us found out about it like a little bit before she was found mummified. And we were kind of watching going, yeah, you shouldn't be selling Colloidal Silver. These live streams are nuts. And then all of a sudden, it just went downhill very fast after that. I'm sure people that were around for all of that can tell you it was very all over the place. And then once it was on the news, I thought most people would be aware of this. But again, it's still continuing. Hello, Insolent Violet. Good to see you. I hope that you're having a wonderful, wonderful day. You finished work today, and then, oh, you got some time off. I hope so. That sounds nice. Dive on in. Yeah, see, my thing is, I fear that in one day in future, all of it's going to disappear off the internet, and then we are not going to have any, like, archive of all of the stuff that they've done and said and all that, because it's very hard to find the stuff from when they were Love Has Won. There's some, like, archiving of it, but we don't have everything. So I'm hoping that if I get them while they're doing it, which they're very much doing the 5D university stuff right now as we speak, then, you know, at least then somebody has a record of it out here. I just found your channel a couple weeks ago. I love your commentary. Thank you. I appreciate you. Funny how many people say they were clear. Do you know what? That's so true, isn't it? Like, most women that do the whole, like, oh, I'm reincarnated, do tend to claim to be Cleopatra. And that was, like, one of her big claims. Mother God was very much like, I was Cleopatra in my past life. That was one of the main ones that she would always bring up. Jesus was another one, which, again, I've never understood the gender thing, because she kept gender for all of them except for Jesus. She lists all these women she was, and then she was like, oh, and then I was also Jesus. And I'm kind of like, what? Who was Jason then? Yes, Violet, no serfs that died of the Black Death died during childbirth, etc. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not even going to pretend. I must have missed something. I'm so sorry. Anyway, I hope that all of you have had a decent morning and that you're ready to dive into this. For those that want to, go through this with me, I do leave the link to it down below. It should be linked. I can link it again quickly as well in the comments here. But this is what we're reading through right now. It's the Awakening 101 training program. We don't have that much to get into today. It's, only in the last few chapters. Because we have already read through course 1, and this is what I mean. See how it's in courses? So this is what they're teaching at the 5D University. A lot of it is based off of this. I feel like once we've read this with the other ones that I've already read, guys, if you've watched those videos, you're good now with me, and we can continue on reacting to their videos now. And you'll understand what the fuck they're talking about. Because without some of this information, sometimes it sounds even crazier than it is. It's already crazy enough. We don't need it to sound crazier than it is. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like a lot of the 5D is literally based off of this one. Hello, Lucian. Good to see you. I appreciate that. Helmcat, good to see you. One of the weirdos in the call ended up in jail in the county I live in after they found her mummy body, but haven't heard much about them since then. Yes, all of them were charged. All of them that remained at the house. I believe there was 8 of them that remained at the house that were charged. And including Aurora and Hope, by the way. Like the women from the 5D that we're covering. They were also charged. And they were more charged in crimes like not calling the police when somebody passed away, doing stuff to a dead body because they decorated it. It was mummified in the bed. It's a little bit weird. You get in trouble for desecration of a dead person and all that kind of those charges. So a bunch of them got a handful of those mixed in, right? Because it depended what they were doing. The police investigated it very extensively, went back, watched all of the old live streams and everything. I'm sure at that time everything was still up. Nothing had been, removed even by YouTube, I don't think. And so they ended up all charged, and then the charges were dropped, and they all kind of went about their lives. Jason Castillo, Father God, then broke the law several times and was on the run, and I cover that, but that's more in my Joy Reigns coverage. So this thing was Love Has Won, the call. And then it's split into Joy Reigns, where if you look up Joy Reigns, spelled R-A-I-N-S, like rain, then you'll also find videos of mine that cover that part. And that's more when we talk about that. Jason is still sort of on the run off and on. He keeps fucking committing crimes, and he's homeless, and he does stuff. Cops go after him. He goes on the run and into hiding. We chase him around for a little while with the FBI. and then he'll disappear for a while. All right. But this one, 5D, Aurora's taken over. And it just keeps continuing on. And it goes silent, but never on their website, really. They've gone pretty strong the last couple years. But they do disappear off YouTube for months at a time. And then they show back up. And then it'll be constant uploads for several months. And then they'll disappear again. So you have to kind of keep track of them on their websites. Just FYI, maple coffee isn't great. No, I'm not a fan either, by the way. So we're fine. We're fine. Maple coffee isn't my favorite either. I also tried to put maple syrup in my coffee once, and I wasn't really a fan, I have to say. The maple, nah. But I drink mochas too, so I thought it might work with a mocha, but it didn't. So far, we've gone through the first 6 courses. So we have course 1, what is the Ascension, which we've pretty much watched a video of them explaining to us what it is already, which is the last part of the Ascension Guide streams I did. Course 2 is a story of creation, which we're going to hear 5 million times as we go on. Course 3 is Mission Earth Activated. Course 4, Age of Aquarius codes. Course 5, everything is energy. And course 6, ego program mind. Where we left off at the end of course 6, they had said to do an ego ceremony. Right after that, a couple days later, I released a video where I told you guys how to do the ego ceremony. In case you missed it, you basically write down everything that you hate about yourself on a piece of paper after thanking Mother God for teaching you your great lessons and your higher self and thanking your angels. And then you burn the paper. And that murders your ego and takes away all your bad traits and any trauma you might have or anything. Then after that, I released a short video in which we went through the whole ceremony guides, which explains to us that in all these ceremonies, what they're doing is they're writing stuff on paper, then they're either burning it, putting it in water, and like ruining it, if you will, or they are putting it with crystals, or they're burying it. And they explain in that little pamphlet, if you will, because again, I don't know if I can call it a fucking book. It's like 4 pages. They explain why you do each ceremony. So they call it the elements. I don't know. I don't remember crystal being one of the elements. Maybe that's just me. Crystal, I never knew her. Sorry, I had to do a Curtis Connor there. So basically, like, that's what they were telling you to do at the end of the Ego Program Mind course. You were supposed to write down all the traits that you hated about yourself on a piece of paper and then burn that paper. And now you have basically given your ego a funeral, which, like I said, that's just a mix of all your worst traits. So today we're going to be going through Course 7, Transformation Tools, Course 8, which is Balanced Harmonics, Course 9, Angels and Guides, and I have released in the past how to talk to your angels and your higher self, because sometimes they're the same thing, sometimes they're not, because it's a cult and it's consistent like that, you know how it be, you know. And then the last one, of course, is Course 10, which is Healing Karmic DNA. And that's basically it. So again, like I said, we're only going through these last 4 here. Let's just get right into it. So Course 7 is Transformation Tools. There is a coffee cult. I would join that one, maybe. That would just ruin me. But yes, Course 7 is Transformation Tools. And they say, as we go through the process of ego dissolvement, which I'm confused about because we just did a funeral for our ego, and healing, we can always rely on our transformation tools and spiritual disciplines. These keep us consistent, which this cult is not, grounded, centered, and in surrender. Which is always an iffy thing to hear a cult say they want people to be in a state of. There are many ascension tools that we can use to help us ground and center our energies, as well as spiritual disciplines that assist us with transformation. Examples: grounding. Placing your feet on the earth for at least 2 to 5 minutes per day. And they do mean your bare feet on the ground outside. Meditation. This can be done in traditional style, or meditation can be any task in which you are in the present moment of now. Cold showers, which just sounds like a great time. Automatic writing, which is when you just sit with your pen and paper and then let it come to you, if you will. Allegedly, everyone can come up with this skill, and they get further into that as we go along. They've talked about it briefly here and there in the past. Cutting cords, sun gazing, shielding, using the rainbow, violet, emerald, golden flame for healing and transmuting. Ceremonies, again, when you write down stuff on paper and burn it, bury it, throw it in water, put crystals on it. Prayer, mirror affirmations, which is basically just self-affirmations that you do while you're standing in the mirror. So it's not like anything all that special, by the way. I'm just saying most people don't think it works for them. It's a very MLM thing to do too, the like mirror self-affirmations. Cold showers, I'm out. Yeah, right. Especially right now. Exactly, Joe. That's what I'm saying. I feel the power. So they say the key is to discover what works best for you, which, I mean, this is kind of what I mean when I say they keep it general so that it applies to all different types of religions and spiritualities. They don't downright say you have to like throw your old one away, because Mother God will just tell you that she reincarnated as whatever person you worship, okay? If it's Buddha, she'd be like, oh, I was Buddha in a past life. So no matter what, they kind of leave it open. And it's very much shows when you see them list off things like this, right? Like this is just like you got prayers, and then you have mirror affirmations, which apparently works the same as prayers, which is a very spiritual thing. Same with the automatic writing and blah, blah, blah. And I feel like them saying, okay, you can do anything that feels right to you is just another way that they're leaving this open so that the more people can join this thing. They say try different tools and techniques and feel free to create your own. And that's a little bit silly to me. I don't know why, if this was a certain thing that you have to do in order to get into heaven, right? Like their version of heaven, which is basically being your higher self next to Mother God, which sounds like a nightmare to me, but whatever. Like, I feel like if they're going to say, okay, you have to do this ascension journey and you have to do it properly, and you're going to keep reincarnating until you do kind of thing in order to make it to the level that you have to be ascended to be able to go and be with your higher self next to Mother God, it's weird to then not be specific about how people are supposed to do that and to let people like create their own things along the way. Because I'm like, well, what if their way isn't necessarily a good way for this cult? Okay, what if their way is smoking and gambling it? Like, you know, like something like that. I'm just throwing that out there because it's an easy example. But I don't think people should be free to create their own. Usually when you're going to tell people that they have to do things to get into heaven, it's very clear. Like in the Catholic religion, it's like, don't sin. If you sin, you have to ask for forgiveness, and you have to like confess all your sins and then go do a bunch of prayers in order to be forgiven for them. And then you're good to get into heaven, you know? But people know what to do. It's not like, oh, if you sin, you can go say sorry in any way that you choose, you know? It's always a little iffy to me when things are so generalized and left so open like that. Again, it just tells me that they're doing that to pull from anywhere and drag anyone into this thing. Because then they're like, you also may switch between different tools and disciplines depending on what your needs are. And like, I guess you could do that again to an extent, but at the same time, it's left too open. Like, a lot of people would look at that and be like, well, what the fuck does that mean? The key is consistency, which they don't have much of, but sure. The ego cannot and will not be consistent. The tools and disciplines need consistency in order to have the greatest effect. Right? Because you're learning this for a reason. Many may use their tools on the days where they are struggling, but on the days they feel good. Will not do them. And I'm like, okay. I feel like that's all religions. I think we're all guilty of doing the quick little prayer that something will turn out right, even if you're not fully religious and you don't go to church. Oh God, please let this work out right, you know? It's the same. The more consistent you are, the more stable your energy will become so that you will be able to ride the waves of energy without crashing. Yeah, surf's up, dude. Do at least one discipline or use at least one tool every day. They yell that part at you every day. Then feel free to add in and switch up other tools and disciplines based on your guidance. And I'm like, okay, is that the consistent part, I guess? Is that you're picking one discipline and one tool from their list, and then you can just do whatever the fuck you want after that. And then they're like, we suggest the mirror affirmations, daily movement, and automatic writing as one of your daily disciplines, and adding in additional ones as you go. And I'm like, I feel like you told us to do 3 of them. So do I just pick one of those and then just pick whatever other one I want to do, or make up one? Like, it's very general. These are the most powerful tools to moving energy and anchoring in the higher self. So again, you would think since they're the most powerful tools, there would be more instruction about how to use them and do this in a perfect way. But there just isn't. It's very frustrating. 100 Hail Marys and 25 Our Fathers. Yeah. This thing is like, go meditate and then put your bare feet in the dirt and set a piece of paper on fire and then you'll be good. And I'm like, that's all very random sounding in general. The end of every course, they give us homework. Because we're at 5D University, you know. We're going to uni. So it says, practice using some of the tools and disciplines throughout your day and see how they make you feel. Experiment with different ones and variations to find out what works for you. Recommendations. And I'm like, oh, that's how they kind of tell you to do it. So they never really give you instructions in these manuals, I'm noticing. Instead, the instructions come more as like a recommendation or an example. So they'll be like, we kind of want you to do this meditation. You can do it any way that you feel works for you. But, you know, an example is, listen, if you need to ground your energy, the meditation that you need to do is ABC. And you're like, oh, so then there is a specific one. You just don't want to make it sound like you're telling us what to do. I see through that shit. I see what you're doing. So again, this is what they really want to tell you. For assistance with grounding your energy, you need to do these 3. Movement, grounding, which, yeah, no shit, Sherlock, and deep breathing. So just, know that. For assistance when you are spinning in the energy, which that basically just means you're confused about what to do, I guess. You cut cords, cold showers, and ceremonies. So you set shit on fire. For assistance with opening up your connection, they say do automatic writing, sun gazing, and prayer. We've talked about the sun gazing thing before. Please do not do that. You will fucking go blind. For assistance with anchoring in the higher self, which you're allegedly supposed to be able to, like, do this more now, by the way, because you did that ego funeral. So you do the ego funeral, and then you can start to anchor into your higher self. And for assistance with that, they're like, do the mirror affirmations using the rainbow flame, and then do meditation. So yeah, don't be mistaken. That's the real answer. So now we're on to course 8. Balanced harmonics. Now that you are becoming familiar with the ego frequencies as well as the divine traits, we are ready to focus on balanced harmonics. Everybody grab a pen and paper and let's go, kids. I don't know why it's written so juvenile. Balanced harmonics is the balance of our internal feminine and masculine. And I'm like, that's not what I was expecting at all. Many dysfunctions has developed within the collective and in masculine-feminine relationships due to internal imbalances. The correct balanced harmonics is, by the way, trans rights in the chat, please. The correct balanced harmonics is feminine, 51% feminine and 49% masculine. Masculine is 51% masculine and 49% feminine. Yep, so if you're a woman, make sure you're 51% feminine. Otherwise, your harmonics are imbalanced. And then you can't go on your ascension journey. When we are imbalanced energetically, this causes us to energetically seek out others who are on the opposite end of the spectrum in order to balance ourselves out. And I'm like, that's not how that works at all. Have you ever heard of being gay? I mean, that's not a thing. There's a lot of masculine, quote unquote, men who are then into masculine men. Like, what are you trying to say? And gender and sexual orientation are not connected, like, in that way at all. All right? Like, whatsoever. So I have an issue right off the bat. I'm kind of like, what the fuck is this? What if I'm 50% feminine and 50% masculine as a female, huh? Am I throwing it all off? Am I not going to finish my ascension journey? Am I going to have to be incarnated again until I'm a bigot? Like, what is happening here? I don't know what to do with that information. But apparently, we seek out the opposite to balance ourselves out. This happens most frequency, not frequently, most frequency in relationships, but can also occur in friendships, partnerships, and connections. And I'm like, so just everywhere? So you're saying that women only seek out friendships with men then, and men can only seek out friendships with women. Have you ever been to a fraternity by any chance? Like, have you ever seen a bunch of bro boys hang out? You know what I'm saying? Or like a bunch of girly girls hanging out. That's a thing, okay? They're not seeking the opposite. Usually you want people that are in line with you and have similar interests, right? And to say this, I feel like you're not taking any of that into consideration. You're like, oh, everybody looks for, like, if you're a feminine woman, then you're only seeking a masculine-like man out there. And it's just, that's not the case. That's just not how life is. But they go on to continue to explain, you know. So they say, for instance, if one is heavily imbalanced in their masculine energy, which some might say I might be, they have an overabundance of aggression, logical thinking, damn that logical thinking, and control. Well, you can't let them be controlling. You want to control them, right? I mean, that brings in some problems to this cult. One in this state would lack the feminine balance of feeling. So you just turn into a fucking sociopath, I guess. Compassion, receptivity, and openness. Just close right off. You're like, no one's getting in now. Fuck y'all. The same would occur in a vice versa situation. And I'm like, no, it won't, because this isn't even a thing. But okay. As a collective, and I'm like, don't bring me into this. I never signed up for this shit. I'm not in on this at all. I'm not a part of this collective. We can see how this has plagued the collective. Like, how fucking convenient. The feminine have become hyper feminine. Okay. And the masculine have become hyper masculine. No, sweetie, you just got to get off the torrent browser. Stop checking out all of the incel areas of the internet. You'll be okay. The feminine became disempowered, overly emotional. Who are we talking to? Seeking validation. Yeah, men never do that. And lacking in boundaries. Yeah, it's just women. Women have that problem only. Masculine men, basically, became controlling. Yes, all men are controlling. Every single one of them. Powering over. And I'm like, is this how Jason Castillo was with you? Is that why you're writing this? Is this your way of taking it out on him? Aggressive and numb. They just have no feelings. Everyone's a sociopath now. No wonder why we're fucked as a fucking collective. Similarly, this could happen when a feminine becomes overly masculine. I don't know what that means. Or a masculine becomes overly feminine. Can you please define your definition of feminine? Because it's not defined clearly here. I don't know, like, what that really means. Like, are you saying the stereotypical traits that would be considered feminine, men are taking them on? I really don't think that's a thing. I swear to God, one man shows up on a dress on the cover of a magazine and everybody loses their fucking minds, okay? It's like the green M&M all over again. This is what creates the energetic imbalance, which causes a feminine, which I don't like this, like, being called a feminine. I don't like this. As a woman, thank you. I don't want you feminine. You feminine. Me masculine. Us big baby. No. Like, I don't. What are we doing? To seek out another feminine or a masculine to seek out another masculine. Oh my God, this is what makes the gays gay. We figured it out. We figured out the gay gender. Like, fuck off. Like, what the fuck is this? Every person we are, quote unquote, attracted to is based on an external seeking of balancing our own energetics. Make sure you're not too girly, boys. Girls, sports are only for the boys. I feel like she would have been one of those moms, but she wasn't. That's the funny thing. Mother God was a decent mom before she went insane and then ran off and became Mother God. Is this Aurora channel? I'm sure Aurora wrote this, but no, I do cover her though. Welcome. So, in order to anchor in balanced harmonics, because I'm sure after what I just read, you're all like, I can't wait to do this shit. Okay? Like, all of this bigotry. In order to anchor in balanced harmonics, we must do the inner work. This takes honesty and transparency within ourselves. We must actively work on anchoring in the divine traits of the energies we are lacking in and transforming the lower energetics we are holding. Then I'm like, okay, so now they're considered lower energetics? A little bit more bigotry to it. This is the key to anchoring in heaven on earth. I'm like, by dividing us all by feminine and masculine traits? I don't think it is, but okay. As 5D only resonates with balance and purity. It will note anchor, and I'm like, what the fuck? It will note anchor and admits dysfunction and imbalance. Supposed to be not anchor, they don't do grammar spell check over here. It's also formatted awfully, as you can probably tell. Now we're on to Course 8's homework. That's right, we got homework. Yay! They say read through the divine traits once again And I'm like, did they just not know what to talk about in this chapter? Were they had to make it 10 chapters so it was an even number? And they were like, I don't know, we'll just like invent some balanced harmonics thing where we say that women have to be 51% feminine and 49 masculine, and then men have to be the opposite. Like, it's all bullshit, right? Read through the divine traits once again, because we had no clue what to tell you to do in this one, and reflect on the divine traits you had written down that you felt you were lacking in. I'm like, oh, I see where this is going. Shaming women for not being feminine enough and shaming men for not being masculine enough. I just love misogyny and toxic masculinity within the same cult. Yeah, let's sign up to gain those traits. Notice if you are lacking more in divine masculine traits or divine feminine traits. Then you'll know what gender you are, apparently, or something. And I guess trans people don't exist in this cult. For example, divine masculine traits will include yang energy, passion, discipline, integrity, honor, tenacity, empowerment, truth, perseverance, courage, bravery, and etc. Yeah, it's only men that have those traits. And divine feminine traits will include yin energy, receptivity, compassion, full feeling. Men are just empty creatures. Intuition, joy, tolerance, openness, surrender. Yep, no, I'm fucked. And etc. If you are lacking in divine masculine traits, your job is to work on your empowerment, speaking your truth, drawing boundaries, taking action, and being disciplined will assist you in anchoring this in. If you are lacking in divine feminine traits, your job is to feel more. Yeah, women need to feel more. That's the problem. This often takes time as we were programmed not to feel but to think. I don't remember getting that programming until I got here. Practice letting go, trusting in the universe rather than trying to control. Because, control is a masculine trait. Express yourself vulnerably, which that's something only females do. I feel like, again, the whole thing about toxic masculinity is that it's forcing men to be masculine when they don't need to be, okay? The funniest thing ever is there's so many women out here that are like, the sexiest thing ever is if a man shows me real emotion. Okay, I'm telling you, there's some girls that, if a man shows compassion and emotion, that'll do it for him. Shed some tears about something sad that happened in your life, girls' panties might get wet, okay? So and that's a real thing, by the way. Very real. So I've never understood this whole, men have to be masculine, men have to not show emotions, blah, blah, blah. Like, men can't be vulnerable. And then the whole thing about women being vulnerable, I don't understand either. I've been a vulnerable woman, but I've never been treated as such. So I just don't understand, I guess. But I feel like toxic masculinity is putting more pressure on men to not be vulnerable, to hide their emotions, right? It's not masculine to cry if your dog dies. And it's like, no, that's just human emotion. There should be no gender attached to that, to me. Like, that's like identity politics where you have to, attach things to everything. No. Well, we're not attaching gender to feelings, okay? I don't have time for that. So it's like, if something sad happens, doesn't matter what fucking gender you are. If you cry, you show some vulnerability or whatever, you should just be fucking told that that's great and, supported and have people help you through that. It shouldn't matter, what gender you are. So things like this in any kind of religious doctrine really drives me nuts, but especially in something like this one. This was just written in the last few years. Okay? Misogynistic shit written in the Bible, for example. There's a little bit of leeway in the sense that it's like, well, this was written back like fucking a century ago when life was very, very different. That doesn't excuse it. That doesn't mean that you should continue on treating people like that today or anything. But you can have some kind of understanding about how, like, that would make sense to them at the time. We have no leeway here, to me. There's no fucking excuse for this. We had already done away with the whole, like, gender thing and, like, what girls are supposed to play with, what toys boys are supposed to play with, and girls wore pink and boys wore blue and blah blah blah. Well, it used to be the other way around at the hospital, by the way. I'm just saying, pink used to be the boy color, and we had already been like, fuck the gender thing because it's stupid. Okay, and that will help us kind of end some of the toxic masculinity, which also helps women out, by the way. And will help, feminism, which also helps men out, by the way. Which is why you shouldn't really be against it either. So when I see this, I'm like, what fucking decade were these people living in? Like, are you stuck in 1922 while you're writing this? I don't understand. How were you in, like, 2018 and this is what you came up with? Like, we're not talking something that was written 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago or more, okay? We're not. We're talking about something that's been written in this last decade. That's ridiculous. Why are we even talking about feminine versus masculine traits? All of it is stupid. And I say, to that. I have no time for that today. Course 9, Angels and Guides. This is when things are going to get a little bit confusing, because if you have seen my how to talk to our angels / higher self video, you're going to think that the angels are you because they made it sound like that. Okay? As I read through this course 9, they're going to make it sound like it's separate from you. So this is why I think we need to, going forward after today, watch several of the videos to kind of get a feel for how this is explained. Good old Aurora sits right down with us like she used to on live streams so many years ago and talks about the whole thing and explains it, because I still can't decide if your angels are your higher self or if, as they're going to say here, it's a team of angels and guides that are, like, assisting you as you keep, like, reincarnating on your ascension journey. We can't fucking figure it out because I don't know if they did. And that's what's kind of funny about this. So we're going to take a quick break because we're about halfway through, by the way. This one's not going to be as long as past streams. I'm sorry. And then we are going to finish up with Course 9 and good old Course 10. And they're going to explain all of that to us. And you'll be more confused. It's like covering on passive. You end up more confused at the end of the stream about everything than you were at the beginning. We'll be right back after a message from our sponsors.
How do you know if your problems are the result of bad life choices or demons? And what do you do if your problem is demons? My 200-page book, Dealing with Demons, has answers for questions most are afraid to ask. Can Christians be demon-possessed? How can I know what's natural and what's supernatural? Dealing with Demons will teach you how to recognize symptoms that the devil is at work in your life or the life of someone that you care about. Learn strategies to avoid Satan's traps and walk in freedom and supernatural protection. Read Dealing with Demons and be one step closer to living in spiritual victory.
Wait, do you have a condom? You don't have one somewhere?
Oi, excuse me there, sir. Do you have these directions? Sure, you just go down that way and make a turn. Don't let her know that your dinger is almost a no-go. Get Tiny Dinger condoms to you discreetly. It's very important to choose the right size, so make sure that you get your tiny size. Don't be caught without a condom. No, no, no. Get Tiny Dinger condoms, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. Located at your local CVS pharmacy, Rexall, Shopper Drug Mart, Walmart, and in your favorite streamer's nightstand. Are you someone who worships our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ? Do you believe women owe you what the Virgin Mary refused to give up? Is your life meaningless unless you can experience the touch of a woman, but not just any woman, a true Stacy? Are you tired of gym maxing? Well, we have the perfect solution for you, Giga Chad. Brought to you by the same people who brought you Tiny Dinger condoms, trademarked, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand. We now offer sexual endorphin spray to help attract the perfect Stacy with just a few squirts. No, don't squirt that! Sorry. Today's content is brought to you by Sexual Endorphin Spray, trademarked. Just spray yourself with this fabulous fragrance, and the women won't be able to keep themselves off you.
I use a sexual endorphin spray to attract this dumb hoe. She hasn't left my kitchen or my bedroom since, know what I'm saying?
Shit smells amazeballs. The fragrance is cool too. It smelled so good, even Grandma loved it. And me. A little too much, actually. You can even use it at church, guys. The nuns wouldn't stop grabbing at me. Neither did the pastor's wife. Women will love the scent, guaranteed. He smells so good. I just want to rip off all of his clothes and then just take my tongue and then... Okay then, amen. Grab a bottle for yourself today, along with a box of Tiny Dinger condoms, trademarked, a YouTube streamer's favorite brand, and you'll be posting shorts on YouTube called From Incel to Giga Chad in no time. Sexual Endorphin Spray, trademarked. Be a Giga Chad right away and spray to get your dream Stacy today. Located at Shoppers Drug Mart, Rexall, Hartman's, RX Pharmacy, Home Depot, Chad's R Us, the grocery store, all the damn pharmacies, and in your favorite YouTube streamer's pocket. Now, back to our regular programming. So Joe says, this shit is all over the place. And I say, I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that this call and Amy Carlson, like, they used to do magic mushrooms, and she pretty much had paranoid schizophrenia, okay? If she had gone to a doctor and gotten properly diagnosed, I'm pretty confident she would have been diagnosed with drug-induced psychosis from the amount of alcohol and magic mushrooms and possible LSD and pot. We know they were also smoking pot that they were all consuming. If she was already predisposed to having schizophrenia, marijuana is not a good thing. Okay? And when I was in social work, I worked with people with schizophrenia. Oftentimes, the people that were diagnosed with that, marijuana is not good for them. It can actually make them hallucinate. So imagine like alcohol, magic mushrooms, all of that kind of being given to her at the same time that she's taking colloidal silver, which will also fuck with your brain, by the way, and like really mess you up and also make you more susceptible to the drugs messing you up and your mental health being messed up. And I know this from personal experience as someone that was a drug user in my very early 20s. I got sober in my mid 20s. I suffered from mental health. And I was unable to really fully get help for that until I was off of the drugs and sober for a while. Okay? You can't get help for your mental health while you're using. You can't. It's impossible. And if you're already struggling from mental health issues and then you use, you're going to fuck yourself up more. It's not good to self-medicate with any kind of substance. It will fuck your mind up more. So you can kind of like picture what kind of state she would have been in, right? Like, she's very, very vulnerable. And then she gets like delusions of grandeur, thinks she's this god. And everyone just kind of follows her and like does the drugs and alcohol with her in a house, and then they write these documents basically. That's what we're reading, and that's why I think a lot of it doesn't make sense. Or as you'll see in this one, they don't specify exactly what the angels and guides are. We just read through a whole, this is how you talk to your angels, and your angels are your higher self, by the way. And now this is going to kind of fuck with that a little bit. You know, it's going to contradict it. A lot of cults, when you go through the doctrine, it contradicts. A lot of religion contradicts. But the cults are even worse. And this one is obviously one of the worst ones for that, because of the fact that there was also a lot of drug use and possible mental health issues that were at play when this was kind of going down. Which I guess you could argue that most of the cult leaders have mental health issues and whatnot. But I feel like Amy was in a full-on state of delusions of grandeur with paranoid schizophrenia, hallucinating, and like then these people were just enabling the fuck out of her the whole time. Her family felt like that. If you watch the Dr. Phil where they all go on, you're going to see that as well. April says, any cult that has homework I don't want to be a part of. Yeah, right? Imagine like this thing is going to try to get people that are younger. So like people in actual university, and then they're like, oh, and we also want you to do our 5D university. And then here's a bunch of homework. It's like, thanks, I already got enough. I don't need this. Thank you, though. They must have used on passive as hell to write this. Yeah, and sometimes it actually does come off as if it's like an AI writing it instead of people writing it. And I do think some of it comes off as high rambling. All right. It's like I'm reading my old online journal from when I was like high and I was like 18 writing in a journal on the internet. Okay? That's what this reminds me of. So this is course 9, Angels and Guides. So they say every being on the planet, besides aberrations, which I'm like, okay, holds a soul that is connected to Source. Again, Source is Mother God, Amy Carlson, the source of all existence, the source of life, the source of light, the source of love. Good old Amy Carlson. We are all angels having a human experience. So you're like, okay, so then, yeah, the angels are our higher self. That's what I read. That's how I know it to be. Each being is assigned a team of angels and guides to assist them on their journey. Okay, so the angels aren't me and my higher self. It's a team of angels and guides that are just following me around, I guess. Most often, we have a team of angels and guides during our life. And once we awaken and begin rising to greater levels of mastery, right, a new team of angels and guides is assigned to us. So now not only are the angels different than us, you know, they're a team on their own, but they're indisposable at each level, I guess. We're just chucking them out and getting new ones, too, on top of that. So again, that takes away from them being our higher self. Like we were told, we can talk to our angels, which is our higher self, as if it's a part of us. And now it's not a part of us. Anyway, they go on to say, many of our guides are family members and ancestors who have passed over, as they are part of our DNA lineage and are part of the same soul pod. So now we're like peas in a pod, but with our souls, with our ancestors and family members. Our angels are specifically assigned to us based on a match to our energetics, along with them also being our family members. I would hope that would have something to do with the assignment. The number of angels and guides varies from person to person, and the number may change throughout the journey. I think they left this open so that anyone could be like, oh, I know I have 17 angels. These are who they are. And then they could be like, oh, yeah, for sure. Those are definitely your angels. And there was no like right number to come up with. That way they don't have to be like, oh, each person is only assigned 3. Because what if you fuck that up in one of your high live streams and accidentally mention like a 4th one or something? You can't have that. So again, it's left very open and general here for you to come up with whatever number feels okay for you. And then that will be the number that's assigned to you. Get what I'm saying? They say our angelic team is here to guide us, encourage us, and to provide us with information relevant to our journey. Like, yeah, that's what you guys said too about them being our higher self. Forming a connection with your angels and guides is essential for your journey. One can always connect directly to Source as well as their higher self. So, okay, our higher self is still in existence here. It's still a thing. It's just now not our angels, because then they say, but our team of angels and guides have been specifically tasked with assisting us. So again, now the team of angels is separate from our higher self. We can always directly connect to Mother God and our higher self, but our team of angels are specifically tasked. And they probably don't like it very much. They're like, oh shit, I gotta go to work today and help Queen as her fucking angel. She's impossible. You know what it's like trying to control that bitch, you know? So then I'm confused on it again. They are always awaiting to be asked for help. So then you picture them as like these angels just kind of hanging around you as you're going through life, just like sitting there checking their watches, you know? And what if you don't join this cult and then you never give them work? Oh my God, that would be just awful, wouldn't it? They go on to say, the angels communicate in various ways, and each being will receive guidance in a different way. Again, let's leave it completely open, right? The angels often communicate through synchronistic numbers or words. Apparently it's the year of 66. And they also give direct communication when asked. Opening up the connection to your angels requires trust. So does joining this cult. Interesting. When we doubt or we choose not to listen to our intuition, we shut down the connection. So see, this is the part that bothers me as well. Because technically our intuition is supposed to be like our higher self trying to talk to us, / our angels trying to talk to us. Now it is our angels, but it's not a part of our higher self, which is confusing, because then later on they're going to talk about how your higher self is your intuition as well. And none of it's going to make sense. But I guess that doesn't matter because Mother God said so. Then they go on to say, automatic writing is the best tool to connecting with your higher self and your angels. Writing down anything and everything that comes to you is an important part of the awakening process. Document everything. So you're just writing all day. This helps release energy and is helpful for us to look back and track our progress or notice energetic patterns. Yeah, sure it is. Other tools such as tarot cards and oracle cards can also assist with receiving angelic messages. That's right, now we're bringing out tarot cards. We know how I feel about that. When you are seeking clarity or you would like a confirmation on something you are feeling, ask the angels for 3 confirmations. This is when you know it is the correct action or feeling. Again, for more information on how to do that, check out the How to Talk to Your Angels / Our Higher Self video I did. Example. If I feel to take an action but am unsure, which that's a weird sentence in itself, I may ask the angels for 3 confirms, not confirmations, no. 3 confirms. Yep, 3 confirms. If I, not capitalized, see an angel number 3 times, I will accept that as confirmation. Okay, there you have it. That's an example. So if you ask out in the universe, hey, higher self, angels, should I jump off this bridge? And then you happen to just see the number 3 times that day? Guess what that means, fam? Not good. Not good. Angel numbers are synchronistic numbers that hold meaning for us. The angels use these as a way of communicating if we are unable to receive their guidance directly due to stress, fear, spinning, lack of feeling, or etc. The following are examples of angel numbers that can appear as double, triple, or are quadruple numbers, not or, are quadruple numbers. And here we have it. And now you're going to hear a lot of the numerology bullshit that they go on about for those that believe in all of the numerology stuff. Thanks for being here, Joe. I appreciate you. Have a good rest of the day. So a lot of it is like that sort of same thing. Please, can I order a purple angel? Can't these angels just use WhatsApp, right? Make it more easy for us. So they say that angel number 111 is a direct message from your angels to pay closer attention to your present self and your surroundings. What do you see? Does it support you? Is it helping you or hurting you? What are your intentions? All of this comes into play with 111 or 111, however you want to say it. Take full account for all you have. Change course if required. See how generalized this is? It's like horoscopes. It also serves as a rehearter. Remember that rehearting means remembering? Reminder, if you will. To always pay close attention to your actions as they are a direct result of your intentions. And they're all your fucking fault. Angel number 222. 222 tells us to go within. Like, okay. It may be time to slow down, to surrender. Like, to who? To take each breath as they come and go easy on yourself. Some inner work may be required, as dysfunction, 2 words, is the lower aspect to the energies of 2. A strive for balance will help you to better achieve success. Just success at this, though, not success in your life or anything like that. Angel number 333, 333, is a message from, oh my God, Mother God Amy Carlson. Oh, thank God she's talking to us from the grave. And it's a message to loosen your grip on reality. I think if you're in this cult, you've already done that enough. Play. Just play. Have more fun, laugh. Life is a gift, so bring more joy into your experience and express your inner voice. Some hands-on work is required to evolve, so get out of the house and get those creative Skittles to work. How cute. And don't forget to taste the rainbow while you're at it. They actually say that. They say, get out of the house and get those creative Skittles to work, and don't forget to taste the rainbow while you're at it. I threw up in my mouth a little bit when I just read that line. Angel number 444, or 444, marks a cornerstone to your journey of unprecedented direction for growth in your evolutionary awakening. All right, this shit is serious. You're doing your evolutionary awakening right now. Production is required to move forward from here. Let go of everything. Cut all cords, in other words. That's what cutting the cord means. It means just let go of everything. Oh yeah, they list your family as being one of those things if they don't support this. Let go of everything you think you know and allow the forces of nature to guide you. Yeah, that should go well. Angel 555, not the number. I guess they have an angel called 555. Suggest foundations are set for course. What does that fucking mean? Like, thanks. Be steady and conscious with every step. Walk on eggshells. Oh, great fun. To make better improvement towards the next. Manifestations. All the manifestations are coming your way, so be keen in your awareness as to what you are allowing into your reality, and make sure your boundaries are well firm and set. And don't forget to have fun doing whatever you engage yourself in today. Just today, though. Tomorrow, fuck it. Angel number 666. 666 represents the devil. No, I'm joking. That's not actually what it represents here at all. No. It represents unity. Love connections are being granted and is strongly urging you to step into unity. Enable more self-love to connect with Source, Mom, Mother God, and spread her grace into your community and families. So in a way, it kind of calls the devil. Have compassion with yourself during this process and do not enable drama. Be firm in your values and of service to love. Angel 777 is a definitive message that your angels are listening to your prayers and they are being fulfilled. I guess you just got to trust in the process. 777 is considered to be a very lucky number. And casinos agree. Aha! Since the casinos agree, you know it must be true, right? The casinos say so. Yeah, we trust the casinos, I guess, in this cult. But luck is simply not the case. It's not because of luck. In reality, which this cult's not in ever, the universe is saying, yes, this is yours, and ushering you forward with passion. Should you choose to act, if you decide not to, that's cool too. Trust your intuition and continue listening to your guidance. I guess you're just trusting yourself now. Interesting. Well, you're also asking the angel for guidance. But the angel isn't your higher self anymore. See how confusing this shit is? Angel 888 represents a completion of your karmic cycle. So I guess if you see 888 somewhere, I'm done. That's it. I'm good. Where two polar opposite paths meet and intercept to mirror the other for self-transformation. Is that why she needed to have 10 father gods? Feel into this moment and breathe deeply into the experience. Embrace whatever comes up. Yep, whatever. This is also a potent number that represents manifestation in abundance. So you would think that would be it, right? Nope, apparently not. Angel number 999, 999, is a cosmic number indeed. It says that God heard you. I know you're thinking God, like the usual God, but they really mean Mother God. She is opening her arms up to you as the universe you are within. I guess that means you've ascended, you're done your journey. 999 represents the soul level up of sorts. A peak in your evolution of consciousness. Ooh, so technically, I guess maybe that's how you get to the 5D. Your angel has to send you a 999 on something 3 times, and then you're good. The 9 represents closure, soul, completion, and a new phase beginning. Many codes are suggesting your arrival. This is a good time for you to find and study all of your notes. All of your homework notes. Connect the dots and perhaps do more research if required. Yeah, you should be like, ending your ascension journey at that point. They say, let go and move forward with whatever information source has gifted you and put it into action with perseverance and clear determination. Progress is imminent. Yep, you'll be progressing in no time to being an angel. And if you thought that learning about all those angels was all you had to do, no, it's not. Now you have homework for Course 9. You ready for this? You have to sit down with a pen and paper and connect with your guides. You can use card decks or any other tool that assists you with getting information, like tarot cards, you know. We do not recommend tools such as pendulums, as they carry a lower vibration of manipulation. Well, we don't want a lower vibration of manipulation unless it's to join the cult. Ask the angels anything you'd like. See what answer you get back. Doesn't that sound lovely? Do you wish you could just sit down with a pen and piece of paper and be like, hey, angel, can I please have $1 million? And they'd be like, okay. And then boom, bank account just full. You know, it would be lovely. Feel their presence. Ask them for a sign or message and be observant of how they are communicating with you. So again, this is another case of anything that you see after you do this can be then interpreted as a message from the angels, right? Hello, Kendall. Good to see you. My angels communicate with me through calculus. Unfortunately, I'm not that good with calculus. Damn it. So you're just constantly crossing messages. You got no clue what's going on. Must be very confusing. It sounds like tax codes, right? So, I love these religions and spiritualities that are send it out into the universe and then wait for a sign. It's been actually scientifically proven on many, many occasions. And let me know if you want me to go over some of those, because I will. And I believe I have in the past. That if you ask the universe a question, you're going to be automatically looking for an answer in everything. Okay? And then it's very easy to misinterpret anything that happens as you getting that answer. Right? It's almost like confirmation bias, which we're going to be covering in the new year, by the way. It's you're looking for it. So, and I've brought up this example before. If I ask the universe for a sign that I should move out of my home and leave my family, okay? Then I go outside and it's the lovely springtime or fall time. It's the end of summer when the butterflies are out. A butterfly flies by, lands on a flower next to me, okay? I can then go, oh, I saw a butterfly land on a flower next to me. That must be a sign that I should move out. It's very easy to misinterpret anything after that as being the signs or the angels sending you a message. And therefore, it's very hard for me to believe that this is a good idea. You can't prove to me that you're asking God for a sign and then they're sending you a sign, or you're asking the angels here for a sign and that they're sending you a sign. Just because something happens and you want to interpret it as such, you know? But it's okay, I don't need angels to guide me. He's rogue, he's guiding himself, he's in control, he has all of his masculine energy on par. So I don't like this whole send out a question and then wait for a sign or a message. I don't believe in it. I'm sorry. Even if you do, though, do you really think Mother God would be the one granting it to you? I would hope not. Then they say, notice any synchronistic numbers that are appearing for you. So, okay, they did this study once, and this has been proven before, where, for example, you never notice a pregnant woman really while you're like going around your life. Soon as you end up pregnant, you see pregnant people everywhere. And it's not that they're out more or whatever, right? It's just that you're pregnant. So your personal experience of being pregnant then makes it so that you then notice more the other pregnant people in your vicinity. The same kind of thing is going to happen here with the numbers, okay? There's many times where a clock, for example, will say like 333 in 10 minutes. My clock here is going to say 111. It'll be 1:11 p.m. Eastern, all right? I could then take that and interpret it as the angels from the 111 trying to talk to me. But really, that's just the fucking time. You get what I'm saying? So if I'm in this cult and I'm like asking for something to be fucking answered for me, and then I'm watching for these numbers consciously, I'm going to be waiting more for those moments when numbers can appear like just in the time. Like at no other time would I ever been like, oh, it's going to be 1:11 in 10 minutes. Do you get what I'm saying? But since I'm talking about this, I noticed it. I brought it up in my example because when I looked down, that's what time it was. Do you get what I'm saying? So these people are going to go throughout their life with this idea in their head, but then they're going to be looking for these numbers, and it's like they're going to be on the clock no matter what twice a day. Like no matter what, twice a day, you're going to be able to find 333, 222, 555, 666. Like, you know what I'm saying? You can then technically like fake this in a way. Because you're going to go, oh, I really want to hear from that 666 angel. It's Mother God sending me a message. I haven't talked to her for a while. Let's pretend I'm Aurora. I really miss her. I want to hear from her. So then I'll know to watch my clock, you know, or set something for 666. Like, do you get what I'm saying? You can totally do this kind of thing. And then you're making it happen. So then again, it's not a message from the angels, and you'd have to like trick your mind into believing that. There's just no way to say that it's a message from like angels. I don't believe in angels, but even if you do, you get what I'm saying? It's like then you're just looking for it. You can fake these things that you're going to be looking at your clock now for the next 7 minutes waiting for it to be, 1:11, and it's like then you're doing it to yourself. So I hate this shit because they're like, notice any synchronistic numbers that are appearing for you. So again, you're actively looking for it. Then they go, you may reference our explanations as well as many others, because they pull from other places, of course, like numerology, but only take what resonates with you. Again, we're going to have confirmation bias and all that kind of great stuff happening. Your angels may also send your unique angel codes, as if you always see a unique number like 625. This is how you know your angels are directly sending you a message. They enjoy codes. Yep, and there was a time in my life where I used to see 1:11 or 11:11. And someone told me, they were like, that means you're going through a change if 11:11 keeps popping up. And I was like, that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. But okay, it's the same thing here. It's the same sort of belief system. Feel into any question or something that you have been lacking in clarity on or would like confirmation of. State it out loud to your angels and ask them for 3 confirmations for what you are feeling or pined on. Document your experience and synchronicities over the next few days. Again, when it says document this over the next few days, you're going to now be more open and actually actively looking for these synchronicities. right? Whereas before you were told to do this, they would come more naturally and you might not notice them as much, let's say. So it works against you to prove this. And that's your homework, by the way. You're supposed to spend the next few days looking for numbers. And also the whole fact that they brought up this unique number thing, again, that just that makes me laugh, because it's like, of course, not everyone's going to be noticing like maybe 111 or 222 or whatever they listed off as the angel numbers, right? But let's say you get off work at 5 p.m., okay? You're probably going to notice every single day when it's 5 p.m. So now what they've done is they've taken a situation like that and they've also turned that into your angels now talking to you via a number that you keep seeing. Okay? And I got a fucking problem with that. That's an issue to me. It's all just so generalized so that no matter what, it applies to somebody. And it can apply to you specifically. And I hate it. I hate everything about it. We are now on the very last one of this beautiful awakening training course. We are at course 10, page 40, Healing Karmic DNA. There's 42 pages, by the way. So, this goes on to say, as you begin to dissolve your ego, and I wanted to bring that up separately before we got into it, because going forward, we're going to actually be hearing Aurora explain the whole ego to us and everything. So that will be great fun, because she'll also be explaining to us how we're dissolving our ego and then eventually giving it the funeral that they told us to do in course 6. So I'm still confused as to how we're still dissolving our ego if we've already fucking done the funeral for it, but whatever. We're going to have some great fun starting Tuesday, by the way, this upcoming week. Just saying. They say, as you begin to dissolve your ego, anchor in your higher self. Like, okay, I'm just bring it down, I guess. Bring them down to your level. And develop your intuition. Yeah, just develop your intuition, okay? Your wounds will be coming up for healing. This can feel painful, but is a necessary part of the process. The truth is that triggers are treasure. Yep, someone like me with a trauma disorder really loves to hear about that. When you are triggered, you become aware where you are still holding on to pain and suffering and ego. Or it was just a traumatic experience that you end up reliving, either or. Use your tools and techniques to face these wounds and allow them to heal. I can agree that you should be doing that, but please be doing that with your therapist in a safe setting. Not just out here willy-nilly all over the internet with somebody calling themselves Mother God, okay, please? As you heal yourself and your own wounding, which there's nothing wrong with needing to go seek therapy to help heal yourself, by the way. I don't know why there's stigma attached to that. This place, though, dead against that. You need to turn to them and Mother God. But they go, as you heal yourself, which you're just, I guess, doing, and your own wounding, which again, you're just kind of doing, you begin healing your karmic DNA. So now this is like a little bit weird, because it's as if it's saying that like nobody before you has ever done anything in your lineage in order to try to help make things good or better. That could be true, but it could also not be true. So it's very strange. Anyway, they go on to say, scientists, which the scientists are like, don't bring us into this shit. We have nothing to do with your cult. We're against all of this. But they go, scientists will often say that 90% of our DNA is junk DNA. Okay. Right? And that's probably true. But then they go on to say, this is when they take that and then make it their own. This is not at all what scientists said, this next bit. This is because The 90% is God consciousness DNA, which cannot be understood by someone in the mind, who is not at the level of consciousness to comprehend it. In other words, right now, Mother God is the only one that couldn't comprehend 90% of DNA. All right, the junk DNA. Apparently, the 10% of the DNA in which they can study is the programming. I'm pretty sure they studied it, and that's how they came up with the fact that it's not necessary. Anyway, get it? Not really. I get how you stole something from science and then tried to turn it into weird God shit, but other than that, no, I don't get it, Karen. I don't get it at all. We can only comprehend things that are of the same consciousness level. And you would have to be in your 5D consciousness, which is when you're like sitting up on a cloud with Mother God's source over there, helping her rule the world, in order to understand this 90%. And I'm like, I'm pretty sure that's bullshit. I'm pretty sure the scientists have studied DNA pretty extensively. And if they're calling 90%, which I feel like that's a high number, but anyway, if they're calling some of it junk, they've already looked at it and decided this. But I guess they couldn't comprehend it because they weren't on the 5D evolutionary scale, sitting up as source with Mother God being their higher self. That's the real issue here. All of the studying they did and degrees they have, that doesn't mean anything. Fuck all that, you know. It drives me nuts sometimes, this cult. The 10% of our DNA that is able to be studied and understood is our karmic DNA. That's not what the scientists were calling it, but are we forgetting? Anyway, these are the survival mechanisms, ego programmings, which the rest of the world does to you. The cult doesn't program you, they promise. And generational woundings. Remember, they're like Bob Larson and your ancestors have cursed you. You need an exorcism to save your lineage from the curses of your ancestors. Basically, that same sort of thing. See, that are passed from generation to generation. The karmic DNA creates karmic loops. Pain, illness, disease, which is all different, so I don't really know why there's slashes, but anyway. And suffering. That's right, it's all of the suffering. All of it. This is why science claims that many diseases or dysfunctions are quote-unquote genetic. Yeah, that's not it at all. That's not it at all. This is the part of the document where 5D Full Disclosure decided to just start doing their own fucking science out of nowhere. There's no such thing as genetics. Like, I believe there is. That's been proven. Like, on numerous occasions. You take one look at my daughter and you can pick her apart to see what traits of mine she has and what traits of her father she has. I assure you, genetics and DNA, real things. All right? There is only frequency. Bullshit. Bullshit. Then it goes on to say, when a being holds trauma, fear, pain, and suffering, and it is untransformed, this will transfer to the baby upon birth. I got a problem with that, you see? Got a problem with that. Have you ever heard of something called breaking the cycle? You know, I feel like lots of people do that. And this is saying that if you have, like, past trauma, you're now giving your past trauma to your baby upon birth. I don't understand how that would be a thing unless you're taking out your past trauma on your child as they grow up. Which, by the way, you can completely stop yourself from doing by, again, getting that therapy I was talking about earlier. I'm still doing it. You can do it the whole time you parent. It's great. And you can ensure not to do that. So I hate this weird world that they've created where there is no way to stop that from happening other than getting to 5D consciousness and joining this cult. It also shows you that they want to manipulate people that have maybe had some trauma in their past and would be horrified to continue the cycle. It lets us know that that's definitely a target, a vulnerable target of this cult. And that doesn't sit right with me either. I really hate it. So there's that. They go on to say, hence why many children end up suffering from the same quote unquote genetic illnesses as their parents. And I'm like, no, it's because that person unfortunately was unable to break the cycle. And there can be many factors that go into that. Please don't do psychology and genetics and biology together like this. I don't like it. It's separate for a reason. Okay, thank you. They have proven that if you are pregnant and you go through trauma, it can cause trauma on your child. But that's because you're pregnant with your baby and your baby can feel your stress. So there's a direct link there between you and your child feeling stuff. Okay? For example, I've gone through something traumatic. Well, my daughter was at school, all right? And she still to this day has no clue that I went through it. No clue. I'm sure when she's an adult, one day I'll tell her about this experience. And she'll be like, holy shit, Mom, I never even knew that happened to you. Because you can go through something and then not take it out on your family very, very easily, by the way. It's easy. Well, for me anyway. But you do have to do some work on yourself and have coping mechanisms and ways to not stress out and be all triggered in your life and whatnot. But again, you would need therapy for that. You can't find any kind of spirituality or religion that will just kind of take that on for you. And there is no way to be in this thing and just write things down on a piece of paper and set them on fire and like talk to an imaginary bunch of angels that are sending you weird numbers through clocks and shit in order to heal yourself. And what they're telling you to do here to heal yourself is not going to heal you at all. So then I feel like they're also setting up people to fail, which is very strange to me. But I guess then you can ensure that they continue on in your cult till the end of time now, can't you? Which just goes to show they're not actually giving a fuck about helping anyone here. So they say, once you begin healing yourself, you assist everyone you are energetically connected to, including family, friends, partners, and children. The key to complete healing of your karmic DNA is to get Bob Larson on the phone, is to end the karmic loops. This means taking accountability for your dysfunction, and that will include all of your past traumas and everything. You gotta own. Even if there was something that was out of your control, they make you own it. It's victim blaming and shaming 101. Choosing to evolve and heal. I guess you just go, I choose you, like you're getting a Pokemon. Dissolving all blame, judgment, projection, and externalization. Very easy to say, very hard to do. Do I recommend no longer blaming yourself, judging yourself, projecting onto others, and externalizing everything? Hell yeah. Again, you can do that through therapy a hell of a lot better than you'll ever be able to do it by joining a spirituality or cult, I promise. Forgiving everyone and everything that has ever caused you pain or wounding. Easier said than done again. And you don't always have to forgive, by the way. Sometimes it can be therapeutic to not forgive. Acceptance of yourself and all experiences that you have chosen to have in this lifetime and others. Which then opens up a weird world where you can talk to these guys about having a past life and they'll fill in the blanks for you based on things you've been through in this life. Like they'll be like, oh, you went through SA as a child, let's say. Trigger warning. You went through SA as a child. Oh, that's because in your past life, you really pissed off somebody by doing X, Y, and Z. So now in this life, you put yourself through that. And it's like, that's not something that a child should ever be owning or blaming themselves for. Fuck you. But this is how they see everything in life. If you went through something that's shit in this life, it's punishment for something in the last life. And as they say here, you chose it. Because before you came down on this earth in this life, you had that contract with Mother God where they outlined to you all of the stuff that you would be going through in this life to further your ascension journey. Therefore, you chose these things to happen to you and agreed to them as part of this journey that you're training for now. Then they say leading by example, which is funny coming from Mother God. Everybody's supposed to drink colloidal silver until they die and then get mummified with Christmas lights, or just her? I'm just wondering. Then they say, once our karmic DNA begins to heal, it allows our God consciousness DNA to activate. Activate, yeah, activate. So, again, then you're in 5D consciousness. So now you are heading towards 5D consciousness at the end of your ascension journey once you do all these things. But first we gotta do the homework for course 10. Of course. They say, this sounds like a fun one. I'm sure everyone loved doing this one. This was probably their favorite. Make a list of every moment in your life where you felt hurt, wounded, or traumatized. It is not necessary to relive the experience. Again, if you're someone like me with a mind like mine and you have a trauma disorder, good luck. Only to look at it from a place of non-attachment. So as if you're disassociating, basically. They want you to disassociate and do this. Write down what you felt in the moment of that experience. And write down how you feel about it now. But again, remember not to relive it. It can be hard to do, especially when it comes to traumatic experiences, even if you don't have a trauma disorder. Most people, if they're getting, into details of it, will relive a traumatic experience. And I don't suggest anyone does that to themselves unless they're in a safe place with a therapist helping them through it. Again, that's just advice coming from a 37-year-old woman with a trauma disorder who used to work in social work, okay? I'm just saying, I recommend if you do have trauma that you need to get over, the best thing you could do is go to therapy, and you can get actual trauma therapy for that. They will have an environment in which you feel safest, and they'll help create that with you, even in their office if they need to. All right, you'll be allowed to bring things from home even if you have to. And then they can help you through that while helping you with the tools and the coping mechanisms and anything extra that you would need in order to get through it. I never recommend people relive traumatizing experiences just on their own in their fucking house, okay? That would be very, very dangerous of me. So I must say here, do not do this to yourself. I feel like this is like a cruel thing to ask of anyone. Because like I said, you don't have to have a trauma disorder to end up reliving a traumatizing experience. So it's a little bit much, it's a little bit much for me. I'm like, please do not do that to yourselves unless you are seeking therapy and doing it in a somewhat controlled environment with a licensed therapist. It can be dangerous otherwise. They say next, also write down a list of any moment in your life where you hurt or wounded someone else, even unintentionally. Write down how you feel about that experience then and now, right? I feel the same way about that as I did about the first one. Then they go on to say, this may bring up a lot of stored guilt, anger, resentment, shame, judgment, or grief. Yeah, no shit, Amy. Aurora. No shit. Allow all of these emotions to come up if necessary. But I'm like, okay, but you told people not to relive it. So are they reliving it or not? Okay? The fuck you doing? There is no reason to hold on to these emotions, as they are all just part of the healing. And I'm like, again, you're not really giving them much to do to get through this in a healthy manner. Next, write a forgiveness ceremony for all of these events and people, including yourself, and burn it! Yeah, that's right, just write it all down on a piece of paper, set that shit on fire, and here in this cult, if you set it on fire, it no longer exists and can no longer affect you. Feel how freeing this feels for you. You may do this ceremony as many times as you need to, and this process may come up many times. As you learn to forgive all of the people in your life, you also may be called to draw boundaries. Just because we forgive and unconditionally love others does not mean that we allow their dysfunction. Use discernment with this. Dun dun dun! And now that you're like bawling your eyes out on the floor from trying to do all of the homework in this and having to relive all of your past traumas and pain, you'll be happy to know that congratulations, you've graduated from the Awakening 101 training program by the 5D Full Disclosure Cult. Yeah, so that was quite the ride. Quite the ride. And so going forward, I think that we're going to be, I know that we're going to be reacting to several of Aurora's live streams from the 5D University, which they do have a YouTube channel of. Just look up 5D University, and it's the one with Aurora all over it. And we're going to be listening to them explain this to us, We're going to now do the courses in video form. See what's up, Are they telling us the same things as what we just read? And how is this journey going for all of them? Because you would think that they would all be done their ascension journeys in order to teach us how to do it, but you'd be surprised. So that is all that I have for all of you today. I hope that you all enjoyed this continuance of our Awakening 101 training program for the 5D Full Disclosure University. And I hope that you all have a fabulous, fabulous rest of your day. Please do remember, do not join this thing. It is a cult. And I look forward to seeing all of you on Tuesday, where we're going to do a live stream, where we're going to be talking about December's energy. And then Thursdays again after that, where we're going to be reacting to many, many 5D Full Disclosure videos. I look forward to it. And I hope you do too. No matter where you are, what you're doing, have a fabulous rest of your day, and I'll see you then. Bye!